Okay, so in the previous video, I showed you an animation or a simulation of the two types of crustal material. So again, just to remind you, you have crustal material that is oceanic, and you can also have crustal material that is, sorry, oceanic, this one, and you can have crustal materials that are um, um, what we call continental. Okay, so again, those two differ in terms of temperature, composition, and thickness. Okay, now this video, the main concern or discussion is this notion that most of books, references, and videos sometimes use the term continental plate and oceanic plate. Okay, now there are some things that are not correct about that terminology, because when you say continental plate, it tends to suggest of a plate that is purely made up of continents, no ocean in it. And when you say oceanic plate, that means, a plate that is mostly ocean. So while you can say that for Pacific plate, so for example here, this is the Pacific plate. Obviously, the Pacific plate consists just the majority of the Pacific Ocean, and you you don't even have any land masses apart from scattered islands like Hawaii and others. But um, most of the tectonic plates have continents in them and have oceanic parts in them. Okay, so this is just to clarify that when your book or your references or your YouTube videos, when they say continental plate and they say oceanic plate, what they really mean is not a plate that is mostly continents only and no oceans, or not just a plate that is composed primarily of oceans and no continents. What they actually mean is the part of the plate that has either continents or ocean in it. So, for example, if you look at this one, the one with my cursor on, which is the African plate, this white part here can be considered continental, uh, not continental, oceanic plate. Okay, so, not considered, but um, most um, most references would refer to them as oceanic plate, right? And then the landmass where Africa is here, that's considered continental plate. But again, there's that is not quite correct, because again, technically speaking, when you say continental plate, it might suggest that it's made up of continents only. Okay, but it's a terminology that we have to deal with. It's one of those things where it's a it's a jargon that is used in the scientific community. It's just that we understand what they mean, even if technically speaking what they mean is not that correct. Okay, so again, let me reiterate. When a book says continental plate, what it means is part of the plate that has continents in it. And when it says oceanic plate, it's the part of the plate which has oceans in it, right? The correct term would be to say it's a crustal, it's the part of the plate that has crustal, that has oceanic crust in it, and part of the plate that has continental crust in it. But the term continental plate and oceanic plate is kind of interchangeable. So, for example, if you look at um, maybe Nazca versus South America, most books would say this boundary is a boundary between a continental plate, which is this one, and an oceanic plate, which is this one. But what they really mean is they don't really mean that South American plate is a continental plate, because obviously it has parts that are oceanic. But what they mean is the part in the boundary that is colliding with this Nazca plate is mostly crustal material that is what we consider continental or granitic basalt and granite, right? Unlike here, where you can imagine, because this is oceanic, this is just basaltic rock colliding with the other plate. Okay? So again, let me repeat. Two types of crusts: continental crust and oceanic crust. All plates, or most plates, have both oceanic crust and continental crusts, right? So the part that has oceanic crust sometimes is referred to as oceanic plate, even if that is actually not quite correct. And the part that contains land masses can be sometimes referred to as continental plates. Okay? So I want to clarify this because this is one of those things that confuses people. Okay? So I think that would be all for this video.